All right. So we've been talking a lot about why feeling words are important, why it's important to spend some time and to really think about teaching young children emotional feeling words throughout the preschool years. So now I want to talk about how do we do it? What are the ways we know that we can teach young children emotional vocabulary? Well, one of the first ways is it is really easy to do, and that's direct teaching. So we can just think about what are the feeling words that we want to teach for young children. So some teachers I've worked with have actually, each week during their lesson plans, they think about a word of the week, right? If you thought about a word of the week, you certainly would go beyond happy, sad, and mad in terms of teaching feeling words. You'd even go beyond the 10 feeling words that you wrote down on your piece of paper last time we were talking about it. So you would be thinking about a lot more different feeling words to teach young children. So that's maybe one strategy. So how do you teach words in a direct teaching way? Well, you might think of a word a week and bring out a picture of somebody that's expressing that feeling and at circle time, for example, and say, wow, so our feeling word this week is feeling frustrated. Well, feeling frustrated is maybe kind of looks like this. Can you show me what frustrated looks like? Can you tell me a time that you felt frustrated? So we would talk about what the feeling word is, talk about a time we felt that way, talk about how maybe it looks on our face. This is always a great time to bring out some mirrors and look at how the feeling looks on your face when you're expressing it, and give them lots of examples of when we might feel that way, and then maybe ask them to give us examples of when they feel that way. So direct teaching is certainly a way that we can think about introducing new emotional vocabulary to young children, giving them exposure to that wide range of feeling words. So I want to show you a video clip right now of a teacher that's doing this, and I think she does a remarkable job of teaching feeling words in a direct way. This is a teacher, and she's in a first grade classroom. So maybe the children are a little bit older than the children that you work with, but we've done this successfully with children as young as 3 during our circle times. And so I want you to watch and just kind of keep in your mind what you think she does really well in terms of teaching an emotional vocabulary lesson in more of a direct way.
Okay, can you look like that?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think this guy is feeling? Look at him.
Afraid.
Oh, look at him. Afraid. Scared or afraid? That's the same feeling. Afraid. How about this one? Sad. Show me sad. Sad sort of makes you cry. You ever get so sad that tears come out? Yeah. What do you think this one is feeling?
Happy.
Show me happy, because I know you guys are happy right now, so that's going to be an easy one to show me. All right. Raise your hand if you'd like to take a risk and put your hand in this bag and pick a feeling. But I want you to put your hands out just for 1 minute and think about a time you felt like that when you get it. Be thinking, if you pick happy, of a time you were happy, or if you pick sad, and you can tell us a time that you felt like that. What made you feel like that? Okay, who would like to take a risk? Okay, Joseph. What did you pick? Excited. Excited. How do you look when you're excited, first of all, Joseph? How do you... Yes. Yes. Now tell us a time when you felt like you wanted to say yes.
Because I wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
And did you get to go? And you were excited? Were you excited while you were waiting to go?
Yep.
Yeah, that made you excited.
All right, so she does a remarkable job, I believe, in teaching young children in a direct way emotional vocabulary. So I'll tell you what I loved about it, see if these are some of the same things that you picked up on. So one of the things is that she's making it pretty fun. She seems very enthusiastic and engaged in this idea of teaching emotional vocabulary, and that's pretty fun because it's conveying to children that this is something exciting to learn, right? And they look like they like to do it. She is giving them opportunities as a group to respond. So, she's bringing up different feeling words, and the children all get a chance. There's not one at a time, but they all get a chance to show what that might look like, right? So have you ever been so sad? And then they all show a sad face. Have you ever been so sad that a tear comes out and the kids say yes? All right. So she's doing a lot of good work there, engaging the whole class in this experience of learning emotional vocabulary words. But now let's think about what she does with that one little boy in particular, Joseph. And so I love what she does there. So first of all, one of the things she says, which maybe you like too, is that she said, who wants to take a risk? And that's really conveying to children that this is a safe environment in which you can take risks, but that we also know that there's something a little bit risky that in talking about feelings, right? But but in this environment, we're feeling safe about it. So who wants to take a risk? And then and Joseph does. They actually all do, because she's created such a nice environment for them. So Joseph gets to pick up that card and he reads it. And I don't know if you noticed this when you watch it, but he actually doesn't say the word that's on there, that's written on there. But she doesn't stop and correct him. She just gives him the word very smoothly right there. And the word, of course, is excited. So what does she do? She says, that word's excited. Can you show me what it looks like when you're excited? So that's one of the things we want to do. We want to name the word. We want to show what we look like when we're excited. And then she says, can you tell me a time you felt excited? And so he does describe the time that he felt excited. And so those are all the things that we want to do when we're thinking about teaching emotion words. We want to show what it looks like. We want to say what the word is. We want kids to show how it looks in their face. And we want to talk about a time that they felt that way. She does it great. And again, she's working with first graders, but you can do this with children as young as 3 years old. All right, let's talk about some other ways that we can do some teaching of emotional vocabulary words. So we can also engage in fun activities to teach, some games. So here's a picture. This is actually a picture of me from a long time ago, a vintage picture there of me interacting with young children. And we're using a feeling wheel. So we just made a feeling wheel. We put different feeling faces on a wheel. You can make some of these yourself. We have some resources on the website for you to do that. And the kids are actually, while I'm reading a book about feelings, they're moving the arrow to point to the feeling that I'm talking about. And what's fun is that all of the children that are in this little small group, none of them actually speak English. They're English language learners. They're all speaking different languages. And so we're using a lot of picture cues, and I'm teaching them the feeling words in English. They also have somebody in the classroom that can talk about the feelings in their own languages there. But lots of pictures there so that they're mapping on the feeling faces to the vocabulary words. So that's a fun activity for them. And another way that we can think about teaching feeling words is by using children's books. So there are lots of children's books now that are out that are just about the topic of emotions. And so I'm just going to throw up a few of my favorites here. So When Sophie Gets Angry, Glad Monster, Sad Monster, How Are You Peeling? Foods with Moods. That's actually one of my very favorite ones. It's got lots of fun pictures of fruits and vegetables, but one of the things about this book is that it gives a really large amount of feeling words in there and some more complex feeling words than I think would come to us naturally. So fun words like feeling elated is in there, and I like that a lot. Oh, this is one of my all-time favorites. It's called On Monday When It Rained, and this is a book that's great because it goes through each day of the week and talks about a different situation and the different feeling that the child has. But the way that the pages go is it starts and it says, on Monday when it rained, I wanted to ride my bike to my friend's house and my mom said I couldn't and I was, and then it pauses and it doesn't show a picture or anything. But you could imagine with young children, you could pause there and say, wow, how would you feel? How would you feel? And you could get lots of different feeling words in there. And then you could say, wow, sad is a way that you might feel in that way. Oh, disappointed, wow, that's a really big word, and that is a feeling that you might have there too. Let's find out how he felt. And then you turn the page, and it's actually that picture there of him feeling disappointed. And so this book actually does a few good things for young children. It teaches them lots of different feeling vocabulary words, but it also conveys to young children this lesson that feelings change, right? So you can feel one way one day, and you might feel another way the next day. That you might even have feelings change throughout the day, throughout an hour. So feelings change, and that's one of the great things about this book is that it tells us that on different days and in different situations, you might feel different ways. All right. Some teachers have kind of iterated off of that and actually had children make their own On Monday When It Rains books, because that's another great way to teach young children feeling words, is to get them to think about how they're feeling on different days and to write about that with them. So of course young children are engaged in emergent literacy. They're just starting to draw, maybe starting to make marks on a page or draw some simple representations of people and different things. And so, of course, we would be, as adults, writing down what it is that they're saying, and they're taking some dictation. And so I love these little pictures that come from this preschool classrooms on Monday when it rained books that they were making, right? On Monday I was angry, but my mommy made me feel happy again. And this is me when I'm happy. It looks like I need a haircut. It's very cute. And then I love this one. When my mom and daddy come, I feel happy. And when they leave, I feel sad. Oh, we're learning so much about that little guy. So children can read about books. We can talk about the feelings of different characters that that the different characters are experiencing. We can ask children to tell us how they think they would feel in that situation. We can get lots of children's books that are about emotions, that there's tons of them out there, and we can read those to young children. So we can teach them directly. We can teach them through books. We can have children write about their feelings, make their own feeling books. We can also do things like have children check in each day with telling us how they're feeling. So this comes from the Center for Social and Emotional Foundation for Early Learning website, the CEFL website, and we've thrown this resource up on our website as well. This is how I feel today. It's a checking in chart, and you might have something similar to this in your classrooms. So the idea is that when children come in the morning, they identify how they're feeling, right? They're checking in with how they're feeling. So they're feeling excited, they're feeling happy, they're feeling loved, they're feeling elated, they're feeling proud, they're feeling sad or embarrassed. So children would come in and they would identify how they're feeling. Maybe they just point to it at circle time and check in with how they're feeling. Maybe they have this is laminated and they write their name next to the one that they're feeling. Maybe their parents come in and talk about how their child's feeling that morning. So it's this idea that you could kind of check in with how children are feeling. But a couple things, because I do see this used, and sometimes I see this used that could be used in more effective ways, I should say. So one of the things that's key here is that if you're going to establish kind of a checking in with feelings routine, somebody should pay attention to it, right? So in some classrooms it just becomes so routine that nobody really cares anymore. And so, children come in and check happy and no one really cares, and they go in and go about their day. Someone checks in and says they're really sad and no one cares, and they just go over to finger paint. So you want to have that be a routine in which you actually engage with the child, and as they're coming in maybe in the morning and you're saying, oh, you're feeling happy. Oh, feeling happy is such a great way to feel. I'm so happy that you're feeling happy. Give me a high five. All right, what are you going to play with today, right? And then maybe the next child comes in and circles mad. Oh man, you're feeling mad. I'm really sorry about that. It's very uncomfortable to feel mad. Yeah, I don't like to feel mad for a long time, right? It's very uncomfortable. But look at how calm you're staying. Wow, that's really something. I'm really impressed with that. That's great. Okay, well, I hope that we can help you from feeling mad to feeling something more comfortable. All right, what are you going to go play with today, right? So it is kind of empathizing with them. It's recognizing it. It's also giving them that little wow, you're staying calm. That's quite something, right? You can feel mad, but you can stay calm. That's reinforcing that. And then the other thing I would encourage you to do is that, let's say we had our little friend that checked in and they were feeling mad, and then later on in the morning we see them laughing and smiling and giggling. I might actually even kind of bring it up again in a way like this. I might say, hey Tony, when you came in this morning you were feeling mad. I remember you told me that you were feeling mad. But I was watching you over there in that black corner and you guys were laughing, you were smiling, and so I think you might be feeling, happy? You are? Let's go over and change that and go back and change it to happy, because I can do a couple of things when I do that interaction. One is that I can, I validate how they were feeling. I can give them another opportunity to label an emotion there. So they said that they were happy, and that's great. But then I can go back over and change that. And on the way I can say, oh my goodness, how did you go from feeling mad to feeling happy? Because what that says to children is that feelings can change. And the other thing it tells you is that you have some kind of agency in that, right? You can do something to feel a different way. You can move out of feeling uncomfortable to feeling comfortable, right? And that says, what did you do to go from feeling mad to feeling happy? That's quite something, right? So I'm really reinforcing that ability to go from a negative, uncomfortable feeling to feeling more positive and happy, which is going to help this child learn more in the classroom and just have a better quality of day. The other thing that's important here is that, remember, young children, can be very visual learners. And the other thing that young children in their pre-operational stage of development can believe is that feelings are like bricks. They don't move, they're solid, right? But feelings are actually very fleeting, they're very fluid, and they change often. And so we're conveying that to young children. But if a child kind of glances back and has this visual reminder of circling mad or signing in mad, it might be just the reminder that gets them back in that space, right? Like, oh, that's right, I was mad, I'm mad, right? So we always want to make sure that we change that, especially if it's going from a negative feeling to a more positive feeling, and reinforcing children for doing that, for being able to move themselves from mad to feeling happy. So our friend Tony might say, well, I went over and played with my best friend. That's a great way to go from feeling uncomfortable to feeling happy and positive, right? So we want to reinforce that. Other ways people have had children check in, I love this one. This is from a teacher that has children actually write their names. So they're starting to sign in their names, and this is very young children here, so their names are looking in all different kinds of ways. They're writing their name, and then they're drawing a picture of how they might be feeling. And what this teacher does is they kind of cut this up at the end of each day. It's quite a remarkable effort. They cut it up at the end of each day, and they save this for the child's portfolio. And what they see over time is that children are not only better at writing their names over time, so they're looking at their fine motor skills, their writing skills, but they also see that children's emotional vocabularies grow over time. So they use this as part of their ongoing assessment of both fine motor skills, but also of children's emotional vocabulary growing over time. Have they moved children beyond happy, sad, and mad, which is great.